Alright, so today we're going to be changing the brakes out on this 2007 Mustang GT. I'm going to show my son a few things, get him educated so he could change his own brakes whenever he gets a car. So first what we got to do, we have to go around and we got to break all the lug nuts loose and then get this thing up on some jack stands. Alright, now once you get your car all jacked up on jack stands and all your lug nuts are broken loose, you can go ahead and start removing all those lug nuts. And after that, we got to get back behind there and take off the brake calipers. The fronts will be easy because you could just use a C-clamp to suck the pistons in on the caliper. But on the back on these Mustangs, it's a little different. We've got a little specialty tool we got to use because you can't just suck it in with a C-clamp. You got to use a tool to screw it back in. Alright, now once you get your tires off, that's your brake caliper. That's your brake caliper right there. It's kind of hard to do it and shoot video at the same time. But if you look back here, it's only being held on by two bolts. One right here, it's a 12mm. And then this one down here at the bottom, that's a 12mm. So you go ahead and get your box end wrench, stick it on there, tap it lightly with a hammer because it usually seize up pretty tight. And once you break them loose, you can go ahead and take them off. Go ahead, son, get it.
Okay. Trying to get it on.
Alright, so now once you get all the nuts off, all the little bolts off your caliper, you gotta get the caliper off. Sometimes it can be a little tricky, a little tough. Just do a little wiggle back and forth. Boom, that's it. Now you got these two pistons right here. What you're gonna need is a C-clamp. Put your C-clamp on them, and you grind that down, and it'll suck these pistons in. We're gonna do that here shortly. Now whenever you get this brake caliper off, don't just let it hang like a butthole by the hose because you could damage your hose. So you always want to just leave it up somewhere, set it up somewhere. Get a tie strap if you got to, tie strap it up to your spring or something. But make sure that you don't let it hang by the hose because you will damage that hose. Okay, now before you get your C-clamp out and start grinding on that brake caliper, you want to release your brake fluid cap. So this is your brake fluid reservoir right here. So get that in the shot, son.
Yeah.
And what I'll do is I'll just unscrew it and set it somewhere where we won't forget. I'll set it right there on top of the supercharger. Boom. And that's a wrap. Now we can get the C-clamping. Okay, now once you get it all set up, get your cap off your reservoir, get your brake caliper, and go ahead and start tightening your C-clamp. So you get a good bite. Now, if you shoot at this real good, you can see how it's going in. Every time I turn, it's pushing that piston back on in. And you don't want to do it too much because you could damage this rubber seal. You could damage the seals in the calipers too. And it wears a little bit even with the seals, with the rubber boot I mean. I see that's about good right there. And you go ahead, you loosen your C-clamp, take it off. Now you can see the difference between this piston and this piston. That's how far out this one was. And once you suck it up with your C-clamp, it'll give you extra room because your new brake pads got more meat on them than the ones you're taking off. Alright, we're going to install the new brake pads. The old ones, you just plop them right on out. Get it lined up. There's some little channels in there. The pads right in. Nope. No. Just like that. And the front ones, kind of twist it a little bit. So you got a little notch, and a little notch where these notches slip in at. I'll just kind of angle it a little bit, and then boom, goes right on in, just like that. Nice and simple. And then we take our caliper, make sure they're all nice and tight together. Make a good little sandwich. And put your caliper right back on. You gotta get your I forgot what they're called. Get little channels for your bolts. The your calipers on the top and the bottom. Squeeze them out the way so your caliper will fit on. Give them a light little tap like that. And there you have it. It's all back together. Then you just take your two 12mm bolts and put them on in. Now that's the front. I'll show you the craziness on the back. Alright, now here's the rear brakes. Kind of like the front ones. Instead of a 12mm bolt to get it off, you have two 13mm bolts. One right there that the ratchet's on. You look back here in the back, and there's your second one right there. Well, go ahead, son.
Okay.
Now, once my son goes ahead and gets this brake caliper off, I'll show you the nifty tool that we have right here. This is the tool that you're going to need to suck that piston back in, because like I said, you can't use it with a C-clamp. It has to screw it back in. I'll show you that here shortly. Alright, now what you do to use this tool is you find you the piece like that that's going to fit on the piston, and you find it. Is that it? Yep, that's it. That's the one that goes on the piston. So then what you want to do, you take your tool, take your little bar, slide it on through like that. Pow, goes in there just like that. Put the part that you need on there. Stick it like this back behind the brake caliper. And you go ahead and give it a little, tighten it down just a little bit. Tighten down with your hands. There you go. Now, this is a reverse thread, so it's not like you're screwing it. You gotta go clockwise with it. And tighten this up a little bit. See how it's sucking that piston in by doing it this way? It's a little tough, so you gotta use a little force. Every time you make a rotation, just kind of tighten it up a tad bit. This should be the last one. You just want to get it right even with that boot. You take it off, just screw it in. Boom, comes off. You see that? How it sucked that piston in pretty much even with this rubber boot? Mm-hmm. Perfect. Now what we do is we grab our new pads. We get them in there. Oh man, I took the spring out. There we go. Now you heard that lock into place. It got these little tabs right here. Make sure these don't fall out and you lose them. So it fits in right there, and the same thing with the ones in the back. Dang, the back ones are real easy. You go ahead and slip it right on. Push your bolt holders. Get this spring situated. there you have it. And you just go ahead and put our screws back in. Alright, now once you get done doing all four, you go ahead, put your brake fluid cap back on, get in the car, pump the brakes a few times till it gets real hard. Go ahead, start the car, just keep pumping the brakes. Don't worry, it's gonna go to the floor a few times, but you just go ahead, pump them, and then they'll go back to normal. And there it is, four-wheel brake job, 2007 Mustang GT. Peace.